Lesson 30, a whole month. Congratulations. Thanks for coming along on the ride with me. And most importantly, with God. Today's lesson is God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. The idea for today is the springboard for vision. From this idea will the world open up before you, and you will look upon it and see in it what you have never seen before, nor will what you saw before be even faintly visible to you. Today we are trying to use a new kind of projection. So the ego projects its own feelings of guilt onto the world and therefore has a need to blame others. And so that's how we usually think of projection, but this is saying we are not attempting to get rid of what we do not like by seeing it outside. Instead, we are trying to see in the world what is in our minds and what we want to recognize in there. So just as the world we see when it is scary and threatening or unkind or all the other things that we see out in the world, just as that is projection from our mind, seeing God in everything in the world is also a projection from our mind. So you get to choose which you would rather see. However, that takes a lot of training, and it takes working on the specifics, every little specific situation. So for me, one of the things that wasn't the hardest for me was judgment, letting go of judgments of other people. I mean, it was still quite challenging, but not as challenging as special relationships. We'll get more into those. But judgment is one of those things that is a projection that takes a long time in looking at specifics to get to a point of not judging. And when it says, nor will what you saw before be even faintly visible to you, it's so wonderful when you can notice a situation and go, oh, I would have really been upset by that before. Or, oh, I would have really been blaming that person before. I would have been furious at this situation. And now it's just something in my awareness that's happening. So we are trying to join with what we see rather than keeping it apart from us. That is the fundamental difference between vision and the way you see. So we are seeing everything as part of us. And as we do that, we understand that when we are filled with fear or sadness or anger, that is what we see. And when we're filled with joy and peace and purpose and understanding, that is what we see. And going from one to the other could take years, it could take decades, but do not despair. It will be at exactly the right time for you when you can see God in everything and when you can see that God is in your mind. Just do the practice periods for today, as I keep saying with every lesson. And again, just trust that this whole process is taking you to a really beautiful, amazing place.